It's the 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix at the Shakir International Circuit. The championship may have been wrapped up, but Friday was a tale of two halves. The day practice 1 and the thrill of the night in practice 2. Let's take a look at the drivers and the Constructors' Championship. We move away from Turkey, where Lewis Hamilton was crowned a 7-time champion, to the deserts of Bahrain. Welcome to the Bahrain International Circuit for the first of a double back-to-back. This championship has already been wrapped up, but with 3 races to go, there's still a lot to be decided. Bahrain this weekend, Shakir on the outer loop next weekend. 2 weeks' time, the season rounds out in Abu Dhabi. Lewis Hamilton may be the world champion. Valtteri Bottas still just about confirmed in second, with Max Verstappen in third, but the battle over 4th place is still hotting up. Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris, Alexander Albon, Pierre Gasly and Lance Stroll all stand a chance of being in the 4th place position. On the second page, Lance Stroll leads on 59 points, Ocon on 40, Vettel 33, Kvyat, Hülkenberg still in 15th, ties at Alfa Romeo, Raikkonen and Giovinazzi on 4, Grosjean 2, Magnussen 1, and no points for Latifi or Russell. In the Constructors' Championship as well, we see Mercedes leading and the champions are 504 points. But the battle for third hotting up. Racing Point 154, McLaren 149, Renault 136 and Ferrari 130. That battle for third is still there. And of course, Alfa Romeo on 8, Haas on 3, Williams still with no points. It's the 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix and this is the Friday Practice Review. A load of action coming into this weekend. They call them dead rubber races. Well, if practice 2 then just go by, we're in for an absolute classic here this weekend. Let's take a look around the Bahrain circuit of Shakir with Lap Attack. Let's take a look around the Shakir circuit, the Bahrain International Circuit, 3.362 miles, 15 turns, 3 DRS zones and an elevation change high at 40 metres. It is the trickiest circuit on the calendar in terms of constant time. Start the lap now! Already in 8th gear, flat out on the overtake button. Maximum fuel usage as you hit the first real heavy braking zone on the track. Down to 2nd gear for the right-hand at turn 2. Left as well, up the hill towards turn number 4. Open up the DRS zone for the first time. Now swoop round turn number 4. Now don't go for the apex all the time. Let the car drift out as you get the better run through 5, 6 and 7. Jump the curbs a little bit into the braking zone 9 of turn 8, really heavy, really put the power down through 2nd gear. Now turns 9 and 10, the trickiest corners of the track, a double left whilst braking. Turn 10, hardest to crack. Go for the outside wider line, you get a straighter one for the 2nd DRS detection point on the run down the national straights towards turn number 11. Flick the car into the left, put the power down mid-apex to drift you out wide through 12 and into turn 13, my favourite part of the track. Get too much of the curves, the car will spin you round. Into 14 now, quick flick to the left before opening up the DRS once again, and straight down now, under the sand dunes as well, into turn number 15 and 16. Really 2 last braking points on the track. Flick the car into the left, the little corner there counts as the last corner, flat out to the line, DRS open again in the first zone, and that is a lap of the Bahrain International Circuit. So let's get on to the first practice session then from Shakir, and it was Lewis Hamilton who last time out became a 7-time world champion, set the fastest time overall from Valtteri Bottas. Sergio Perez, 3rd quickest overall for Racing Point as well, followed by Carlos Sainz 4th and Pierre Gasly rounding out the top 5. Pirelli running their prototype tyres for 2021 in both Practice 1 and Practice 2 this weekend. We're seeing some interesting times, but FP1 was affected by just a little bit of dampness. It was raining heavily overnight and this morning as well. I know, rain in Bahrain, but However, it was dry enough for the time that practice 1 started, but time's a little bit off from what we usually see. It was a 1:29.033 from Hamilton in the first session as well. Bottas was 5/10 off as well. Racing Point just ahead of McLaren, Renault and Ferrari as well in the Constructors' Championship. Sergio Perez, third quickest in the session, a second off of Hamilton's time, but Lance Stroll, his teammate, was down in 9th place. Both of them were on the softs. Carlos Sainz, 4th overall. Perez just a little bit off the factor there, so the McLaren Racing Point battle still very close to call. Pierre Gasly was briefly top of the session on the medium compounds, but went down to 5th, rounding them out overall as well. Danny Kvyat, who looks to be out of Formula 1 for 2021, sadly enough, was down the order as well in 17th. Alex Albon, 7th, but 7 thousandths off of Verstappen's own time in 6th. That was a great time, and Albon led the session for the majority before everybody said the times on the softs going forward. Renault split by Stroll. Ocon P8 on the softs. Ricciardo P10 with Ocon, as I said, P9 up the order. With Stroll, P9 in the order. Ferrari, well, they topped practice 1, 2, 3 and qualifying last year, but they couldn't do it this time as well. Their dreadful season looks to continue as well. So Leclerc ran wide at turn 3 and Vettel having lap times deleted at turn 4 as well. Vettel, P12 as well. Not good at all, 11th and 12th. Kubica was in it for this session in place of Kimi Raikkonen. Doing well. He was finished his DTM championship. He finished 13th ahead of Giovinazzi 16th, proving that Kubica should really be in the car more often, even with his arm. He's a fantastic driver. Grosjean brought out the first yellow flag of the session, went off at turn 7. Coming down the hill, the car flicked towards the right and skidded across the track and then went backwards. It was very bizarre. Flat spot the tyres as well, so it's looked to be a delamination issue as well with the rear tyre. They are still saying as well. Kevin Magnussen, who is going to stateside next year. Both of Grosjean and Haas in talks with IndyCar. However, Magnussen is going to race with Chip Ganassi in IMSA and looks to also be doing some IndyCar races. So that'd be a delight to see them on the IndyCar roster. Williams rounding out the standings, Latifi P19 and Roy Nissany, who's standing in for George Russell in FP1 as part of his run-outs for the season, was down in 20th place as well. Russell back in FP2. The only interesting thing from Q1 though was a 360 from Verstappen and Grosjean's bizarre incident. Let's take a look at the times then from an uneventful free practice 1. Lewis Hamilton topped the first practice session on a 1:29.033. Valtteri Bottas was second, a 1:29.482. Sergio Perez third, a 1:30 exactly. Fourth place for Carlos Sainz, a 1:30.018. Pierre Gasly in fifth place, a 1:30.049. Max Verstappen was 6th, a 1:32.94. 7 thousandths off that, we see Alexander Albon in P7, a 1:33.02. Drop further down, we see Esteban Ocon in 8th on a 1:33.84. Lance Stroll is 9th on a 1:34.26. And Daniel Ricciardo rounds out in top 10, a 1:35.08. Drop further down, we then see Charles Leclerc 11th on a 1:35.89. Sebastian Vettel 12th on a 1:36.28. Robbie Kubica 13th on a 1:37.32. Romain Grosjean 14th on 1:38.32. Kevin Magnussen 15th on a 1:30.854. Antonio Giovinazzi 16th on 1:38.96. Danny Kvyat 17th on 1:31.020. Lando Norris 18th on 1:31.392. Nicholas Latifi 19th at 1:34.72 and Roy Nissany is 20th at 1:32.801. Free practice 2 was where it was all at here in Bahrain. Lewis Hamilton, late effort on Mercedes' part, but they got the top spot and third fastest. Verstappen splitting them in second. Perez was fourth, proving that Racing Point does have some speed, with Daniel Ricciardo taking fifth place as well. Some fantastic runs from them this weekend as well. 2 red flags brought out, the first of which was by Alexander Albon, coming into the last corner at turn 14, running wide towards the left-hand side of the track, getting onto the AstroTurf and onto the paint, the metallic paint that's painted, that's covered currently with sand, lost the rear tyre, got spun round towards the right, drifted into the barrier, ripped off the right-hand side of the car, and came to a rest back on the track. The red flag brought out immediately. New gearbox, new engine, new tub, basically a new car looking to having to come its way for Alexander Albon. A massive repair job for Red Bull to get it sorted. The session, however, restarted, and then 20 seconds later, out came the red flag straight away. Why? A wild dog had managed to get its way onto the circuit. A beautiful little dog, which thankfully is okay. It left the premises as easy as it came in, which was via a hole in one of the grandstands. But the red flag was brought out immediately as the dog got onto the circuit, and it looked beautiful. Smiling almost, with its tongue out, going through the gravel traps on all fours. Fantastic from that little dog. But that did delay the session, and then it unexpectedly restarted as well. No time from the stewards. Car scooted at the end of the pit lane. Suddenly, the red light turns to a green light, and the session got underway again. When it did, as well, Hamilton was first flying lap, only going off for 6th. He encountered traffic on his second run. With 15 minutes to go, he got comfortably ahead of Verstappen as well. Verstappen unable to improve on a 1:29.318. He said on the mediums and in the session, his best effort on the soft tyres 0.082 slower. The difference between the two tyres marginal in terms of time. Many drivers complain of the softs losing life quickly. Shakir, historically, the rear tyres are destroyed here quite often. Bottas slotted into 3rd, ending up ahead of Racing Point of Sergio Perez as well. And the runner, Daniel Ricciardo. Gasly was 6th, AlphaTauri, rounding out the top 10. Norris, 7th. 8th place for Stroll. 9th place for Kvyat. And Albon took the top 10 before he shunt. Esteban Ocon was P11, narrowly ahead of the two Ferraris. Vettel, who on the radio when the dog came out said, "Who let the dogs out? Woof, woof, woof." And if I'd known I was allowed to bring dogs to the circuit, I would have bought mine. But unfortunately, he's in quarantine. He said on the radio. Lewis Hamilton's response to the dog being on the radio as well, saying, "I just hope it's not Roscoe." It wasn't, don't worry. Going further on as well, Giovinazzi was 15th. Magnussen 16th as well. They're changing positions again. Raikkonen ahead of Kubica, 17th fastest as well, tailing over the times. Latifi back in the order as well, and George Russell P20. So the most representable times of this weekend we'll get before qualifying coming in FP2, because FP1 and FP3 take part in the day. It's a bit unreliable to see what times we'll get there. So FP2 was a busy session, and we got some action. Maybe this is the point that people are trying to say. Maybe Bahrain would work as a 2-day event. A practice session in the evening, followed by qualifying, and then the race. Because only one session is counted as meaningful track data. Think about it. Night races should be 2-day events. Saying it now here first. So, let's take a look at the times from free practice 2. Lewis Hamilton tops the second practice session as well on a 1:28.971. Max Verstappen is second on a 1:29.318. Valtteri Bottas is third, a 1:29.336. Sergio Perez fourth, a 1:29.403. Daniel Ricciardo is fifth, a 1:29.462. Pierre Gasly sixth, a 1:29.551. Lando Norris is seventh on a 1:29.841. Lance Stroll eighth, a 1:29.871. Danny Kvyat ninth, a 1:29.9. And Alexander Albon crashing out, but rounding out the top 10, a 1:30.014. Esteban Ocon is P11 on a 1:30.085. Sebastian Vettel 12th, a 1:30.110. Carlos Sainz is 13th on a 1:30.271. Charles Leclerc 14th on a 1:30.407. Antonio Giovinazzi 15th, a 1:30.627. Kevin Magnussen is 16th, a 1:30.849. Kimi Raikkonen 17th, a 1:30.928. Nicholas Latifi 18th, a 1:30.973. Romain Grosjean 19th, a 1:31.119. And last but not least, in 20th, George Russell on a 1:31.636. A wonderful day here then. Practice 1 was nothing to write home about. Practice 2 was all the excitement. We'll be back tomorrow for the third practice and qualifying, starting our transmissions at 10:50 a.m. UK time. Qualifying is at 1:45 as well. Well, thanks for your company. We'll be back tomorrow. Good night from us all here, where Lewis Hamilton has topped both FP1 and FP2. Good night.